Good morning. This is MJ from Lioness Publications. And this morning in this session, we're going to be talking about Brazil's leader, and that is Lula da Silva. And there's a little bit of a story behind this in that the last election when he won, the person that lost actually tried to do an insurrection. And that was Bolsonaro, who happens to be a friend of Trump's. And Bolsonaro fled to Florida, and he's now standing trial. So this is sort of a flashpoint for the country, this trial. But in addition, Trump has put himself into this, such that he doesn't like that his friend is on trial for insurrection, and he's increased the tariffs on Brazil to 50%. Trump is inserting himself into the country's legal system, into its justice system. So this is a flashpoint because, number one, what Trump is doing and whether he will retaliate again. Brazil's chart we did earlier, and that does show some type of flashpoint right around the end of January. In this case, with Louise's chart, I didn't go to the end of January. I'm just doing up to the end of this year. So let's take a look. And as I noted, I am starting to do the progressions and the solar arc in line with the transits. So I'm trying to make a chronological record so you can, in effect, tick off when things should be happening. Since we don't have an exact time of birth, we could be off. So that's important when it comes to the progressions and the solar arc. Because in that case, we're looking at, we could be off by a year on certain dates, okay, which is something I'll explain at some point so people have a little bit better perception of what we deal with when it comes to times. So the first thing we have happening on the 9th of September is Jupiter is trining Mercury, which is great. This is a great angle. It's a great configuration because it's bringing a lot of opportunities through his ability to speak. So he can be very persuasive. He can be very clear. He can be eloquent when he's speaking. He can shape narratives. So if he wants people to think a certain way, he can shape it so people will naturally flow to his way of thinking. He can also be inspiring. And this is important because we're right at the time when Bolsonaro when the verdict may be coming out on his insurrection trial. And it's insurrection and a few other things, so it's not just that. So Louise really needs to be able to step up and shape the narrative when the verdict comes out, whether it's positive or negative. Next thing we have is from the progression. And that's coming in for approximately the 22nd of September. And this is Sun opposing Saturn. So Sun is his identity. Saturn is the restrictions, in effect, could be the legal system. So this could be that there's some public accountability coming in here. And also his self-image is growing since this is a progression. So Sun opposing Saturn means that his identity has grown. And in effect, he's moving away from the restrictions. He's trying to deal with the restrictions from what he was previously. Now, the next thing we have is coming from the solar arc. And this is on 10/25, October 25th. And this is Mercury tri-Venus. This is another great angle. It's Mercury trining Venus. People are going to love what he's saying. So this is, again, it's eloquent. He's effective when he's speaking. He's insightful when it comes to his messaging. And more important, with the Venus in a good angle, people are going to like it. They're going to like to hear what he says. So this is a solar arc. So this is, in effect, for longer than just this one day. It's going to be for, a month, 2 months, plus or minus. Now, the next thing we have is on 10/27, October 27th, and this is Jupiter conjuncting Saturn. This is emphasis. Conjunct, usually with Jupiter and Saturn, can be okay. Sometimes there can be some challenging components to it. Jupiter is expansion and Saturn is a focus. So in effect, they're contrary to each other. But if they're working well, what can happen is that you get many opportunities and you're able to fine tune it so you select the ones that are going to give you the best results. So in this case, it's allowing him, especially with this pressure from the trial, to actually expand out. So even though he has this trial and, in effect, the legal system, putting the ex-leader on trial, he can actually move past this. He can get past the pressure of this, and he can expand his country. He can have a vision that's real. So if you just have Jupiter, inflation, and sort of that gaseous type of thinking, then that may not be reality. Versus Saturn is, the hard, cold reality. So in Jupiter conjunct Saturn, it can be a little difficult, but you can get a lot of things done. You can build things now that last. Now, next thing we have on 11/1, November 1st of this year, is we have Jupiter conjuncting Mars. So in addition to conjuncting Saturn, we now have the ability to push that forward. So this is action. So the opportunities, you actually can act on them and realize them. Mars is important to get anything done. So in this case, it could also be political momentum, since this is a political person. It's assertive leadership, public rallies. So this could be after most of this stuff with the previous leader is sort of decided or going through appeals. So maybe he's going to do some types of events that try to push the country past the previous leader and highlight what can be done. Now, on the 21st of November, we actually have Jupiter conjuncting Mars coming back again. So he's going to be in a period that he may be actually just spending a lot of time going out, trying to reassure people, trying to make sure everyone realizes that Brazil is on a forward track to the future. Next, we have on 11/26, November 26, we have Jupiter coming back to conjunct Saturn again. And again, this is positive. It means that out of all the opportunities he has, he can put something together that is lasting. And this speaks well, hopefully, for the results of the verdict that comes out on the other, on Bolsonaro. Because we wouldn't have such positive pieces happening here if the result on the previous leader was a little, iffy, if the justice system backed off. Now, lastly, we have a progression that's happening, and that's on the 10th of December. In this case, we do have some conflict showing up. And this is Sun in opposition to Mars. And this is the progression, so it's going to be lasting for a little bit longer. In this case, Sun is his identity, and Mars is assertiveness. So he's not able to assert himself. So the opposition is conflict. So it could be conflict within the government, could be conflict with the people, but it is a test of his leadership. So it could be that this is a time when Bolsonaro is having an appeal or something like that, that again comes back to confront Luis. So there's tension, the public conflicts, confrontations, and again, test of his leadership. But in general, it looks like he will have at least a few months to be able to try and start putting the country back on a road to the future, which he's got the potential to do. So that's positive. I don't think the Bolsonaro thing is over till probably December, and then we've got the other piece happening in around the January timeframe with Brazil that I talked about in the Brazil session. So it's not to say Brazil is out of the flashpoint. I don't think it is. Some of this may also be coming in December. This might also be coming from other opposition, such as maybe Trump. So if Bolsonaro's appeals have been denied, or if there's something on that point, Trump may again interject himself into the legal system of Brazil. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I hope you enjoyed this. And again, take a look at my website. I've got great things out there that I can do for people and help you understand what's coming up in your life. And if you know what's coming up, you can deal with it better. It doesn't put you off your feet, in effect, because things can happen. Have a great day. Bye now.